Construction workers are continuously exposed to noise from tools, equipment, and machinery. Exposure to very loud noise can result in temporary hearing loss. It's unpleasant, but your hearing can go back to what it was before. But continuous noise exposure, little by little and over time, results in irreparable hearing damage. In addition to causing hearing problems, noise reduces concentration and increases stress, irritability, and fatigue. It also increases the risk of accidents and can drown out important warning sounds such as an alarm, a backup signal, or a worker in need of help. The exposure limit for an 8-hour workday is 85 decibels. Above 85 decibels, a small increase greatly reduces the permissible exposure duration. Since June 2023, all employers are required to implement a prevention plan. The process is done in 3 steps. You start by identifying work situations where the noise level might exceed exposure limits. Next, you must determine reasonable measures to reduce the noise. After selecting reasonable measures, they must be implemented. This exercise should be repeated whenever a change in situation is identified, such as a change of task, tool, or equipment. If there are no changes, a record still needs to be kept up to date in the prevention program. There are 2 ways to measure noise levels to identify situations at risk of exceeding permissible limits. The first method is a measurement done with standardized equipment, which must be carried out by a qualified person. This method is mandatory in establishments. The second method, better suited to construction sites, is the speech intelligibility test. At a distance of 1 meter, you need to evaluate whether you can communicate normally. If it's necessary to shout in order to understand one another, it means there's a risk of exceeding permissible exposure limits. Once risk situations are identified, reasonable measures to reduce noise must be determined and implemented. Eliminating noise at the source should always be prioritized, but if it can't be eliminated, it has to be reduced. Construction work schedules should be properly planned so that you can avoid having too many trades on site at the same time. This way, you don't end up with added noise in the same place. Whenever possible, noise sources should be moved away from the work area. Avoid creating resonance chambers that could amplify the noise. For example, don't operate a compressor inside a trailer. To reduce the sound of noisy equipment, use reflective structures or absorbent materials. Otherwise, move the noise source. The use of quieter tools should be prioritized. And when it's time to replace tools or equipment, they should be replaced with quieter models. Old and damaged equipment generates unnecessary noise. It must be maintained and optimized. When equipment isn't in use, always turn it off. Hearing protectors should be worn as a last resort, when it's not possible to sufficiently reduce the noise level. If you use disposable earplugs, make sure to insert them properly. With clean hands, first roll the plug lengthwise between your thumb and index finger to reduce the diameter. Then, with the opposite hand, pull your ear up and back and insert the plug slowly without too much pressure. Don't bend the plug in half or push it in too far. Hold the plug in place for 30 seconds to allow the foam to expand. A good way to test the fit is to cover and uncover your ears a few times. If there's no change in your hearing, plugs are properly in place. Disposable earplugs are single-use only. They must be thrown away after each use. If you need to wear hearing protectors often, it's considerably more convenient to wear reusable earmuffs or earplugs. Choose the type that's most comfortable and easy for you to wear. Regardless of the type of protector you choose, training must be followed to know how to properly adjust and maintain them. Remember that a construction site evolves and changes constantly. That's why noise levels must be frequently reassessed by retaking the 1-meter conversation test. The contractor must follow up and ensure that reasonable noise reduction measures are implemented and respected. If you have any questions or need advice, APCHQ advisors are always here to help.